Welcome to Behind the Trigger, and today I'm going to be cleaning my Rimex. It's probably been about 700 rounds since I did it. I'm going to run the bore scope through it to see how bad it is. I've only ran Center X and Ely Match through it, so let's get this going. I'm going to use my little Teslong bore scope to see how bad that bore is. Slip that in there. And what we're going to be looking for is mostly the carbon ring, which is right there. That's the most important thing when you're cleaning your rifle, is to get rid of that carbon ring. But let's just see how dirty this rifle is without cleaning it. I haven't even ran a patch down it. And generally I do run a patch down about every 50 to 100 rounds. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of debris still left in there, unburnt powder and whatnot. Do a quick spin here. And you can see the camera actually picking it up. There. Now that there's stuff all over the camera, the mirror, clean that up. Now what I usually use is I just use a 17 HMR Jag, and I have a Tipton 17 HMR cleaning rod. So I just attach this, and I do use a nylon brush instead of a brass brush. I only use a brass brush if it's heavily dirty. And I am using 22 patches. So first thing I do, is I just attach a 22 patch to it. And I just run it through dry. And I just kind of guide it in. Because there's a riser, I'm going to keep a little downward pressure right here when it goes into the barrel and that. And now that I feel engaged in the barrel, I'm going to grab the handle. That way when I push it, the rod can turn as it's going down the barrel. You want it to follow that rifling. You don't want to drag it through. Pull it off, and you can see how dirty it is. I'm going to do one more clean patch, then I'm going to put a patch through with some cleaner on it. Once again, a little downward pressure just to kind of keep everything centered. You know, everybody's cleaning habits a little bit different. You can damage your barrel with the brushes and stuff like that. I clean my barrels one way, and that's about it. And you can already see how clean the patch is. So we're going to run the bore scope back down it again and just see what it looks like. Set this off to the side. As you can see, that cleaned up most of it. Let's see if we can find that carbon ring. So right there, you can see it's really not that bad. So just by running a couple clean, that spot's pretty bad. But you can see it's starting to get there, so we're going to clean it. We're going to clean that area really good. And you run down and you can see that the inside of the barrel looks pretty good without even taking a brush or any chemicals or solvents to it. Now all I do is I just take my patch and I dip it into the solvent. And once again, I just use Hops number 9. For cleaning a rifle, that's your choice. It's whatever you want to do. I've always had good luck with Hops. And just center up the patch, and in it goes. Got a little bit off. And we're going to do one more patch with some solvent on it. Then we'll run it back through, run the camera back through, and see how things look. And you definitely always want to hold it by the handle, that way everything can sit there and follow. I do got a trash can on the floor that just caught that patch that fell. Alright, set this back aside, and we're going to grab the borescope again, and we're going to run it down through and see how well it cleaned everything up. Still got a carbon ring there. We'll run a brush through it. Still needs to be cleaned. But you can see, and we still got to do a dry patch, a couple dry patches to get all that solvent out. But as you can see, it cleaned things up pretty good. Still a little bit of debris in there. Put the lid back in the solvent, and I'm gonna be using a nylon brush now, because I'm using a 17 HMR cleaning rod. I did have to get a little adapter for my 22 brush, because obviously the 17 HMR is a little bit smaller diameter, and a standard thread for a 22 will not fit through a 17 HMR. And I just take my brush, dip it in, dab it off. Slide the brush on, or screw it on, make sure it's tight. Same thing like running the patch. And this is going to be a lot tighter. Currently, to the point it doesn't even want to go through. There we go. The bore guide. And I always take the brush off. Put it through one more time. And you're less likely to mess up the barrel with a nylon brush. Sometimes you need to get a little bit more aggressive, but I don't think that's going to be the case right now. borescope. Alright, let's run the borescope back through it, see what we got. Let's check that carbon ring. A little bit. Still a little bit of a carbon ring there. Not going to worry about too much of it right now. Well, yeah, there's still a little bit of a carbon ring, but it's not too bad. I'm not going to worry about it. Looks pretty good. Alright, let's throw the jag back on. Let's push a couple just dry patches through it. That way we can see exactly how clean it is. Like I said, I don't do this that often, just because I don't want to reseason the barrel. And generally, I only clean the barrel when it starts to drop, when accuracy starts to drop. Throw a patch on. All right, let's push out some of this cleaner. And you can tell the barrel is getting cleaner too because it goes through a lot easier. The patches will. Run the borescope through it one more time, just to see how things look. See if we can get rid of some of that glare. I'm gonna have to clean up the face of that barrel though. Not too bad. I might take the brush through a couple more times to get rid of the rest of that carbon ring. Not too worried about it right now though, just because I'm not shooting any competitions with this rifle. Looks pretty good. The other important thing is cleaning the crown, so just take a rag with a little bit of cleaner on it, and I just sit there and work it with my finger. To get all the excess residue off, and then I'll take dry patch, wipe any solvent off it, and that's it. Till next time.